After her first husband deserted and divorced her, Lidya eventually married again. Things were good in her second marriage, she says, as they were both committed Muslims. Lidya even taught the women in her area the Quran. But then something dramatic occurred that would change everything. One night, while she and two friends were watching television at her home in late December 2000, a van suddenly crashed into the house. Before she realized what had happened, Lidya was trapped under the vehicle. She was also 7 months pregnant.
In that incident, when I was under the van, I saw a vision of a man in a white robe and long hair. He touched my stomach and he said to me, "You are safe."
Lidya says she has no idea of who healed her injured body, but she would soon find out. While her two friends were seriously injured, Lidya and her unborn baby were miraculously unharmed. Lidya was taken to what turned out to be a Christian hospital.
In that hospital, there was a picture of Jesus Christ. The face was familiar to the person who had appeared to me when I was on the ground. Prior to that incident, I didn't know anything about Christians because I was a Muslim fanatic.
Lidya had been told and indoctrinated from childhood that Christians were apostates and were not good, so she kept her distance from them.
I didn't like to see Christians or be with them, because at the time, I was a teacher of the Quran. I committed myself to Islam.
For the next 2 years, Lidya, still a devoted Muslim, would secretly explore Christianity and read the Bible. In 2002, she committed her life to Christ. Soon afterward, one of her sons saw the change in her, and he too became a Christian. For the next 6 years, Lidya kept her faith in Jesus hidden from her husband. But eventually he found out she was no longer a Muslim.
For 3 months, my husband was mad at me. He mocked me because he knew I had become a Christian. Every day I endured suffering because often my husband beat me.
In order to teach his wife a lesson, Lidya's husband used a cigarette to burn her eye.
My right eye was burned and I couldn't open it for 3 days. But I prayed to the Lord and He healed me.
Lidya's husband's anger intensified towards her.
One day in 2008, the final day at that home in the morning, he dragged me from the bed and kicked me out from the house, and he called his friends, all men, and he ripped off my clothes. I was half naked. He told his friends to rape me because he said I was 100% unclean. You can rape her.
Fortunately, Lidya was not raped, but she was humiliated.
I was shamed by all those people who looked at me in the village. It was terrible.
Lidya and her children were now homeless. All this because she had left Islam and became a Christian.
I never regretted becoming a Christian, and when I opened the Bible, I was encouraged by the verses in Matthew when Jesus was preaching on the hill. Blessed is the one who is persecuted because of me, because of Jesus. It reminded me there is a price to follow Jesus.
Lidya and her 6 children were forced to leave several other homes because of her husband, or those who feared she would share the gospel with Muslims. Lidya has received help from our VOM partner in Indonesia to start a small business, making and selling donuts. Lidya says she will not be intimidated from telling others about Jesus and what He has done in her life and how He saved her from almost certain death.
In my church, my pastor gives me a chance to lead groups in the church and be involved in the Sunday service. And I share verses from the Bible. He encourages me to share with others who have not yet come to know Jesus.